Left versus right.
Omicron sounds like some kind of a
While we pay
stopwatch.
to keep our politicians fighting, how do we, the people, rise up and solve the great challenges of our time? We do it by embracing freedom and liberty. There may be no such thing as a free lunch, but this hour is as close as it gets. Welcome to A Free Solution.
Hey, everyone. I am so happy to have you here with me, Larry Sharp, on A Free Solution. Usually I'm host of the Sharp Way Show, or I'm running around New York State doing crazy stuff. But today, I'm here with you, WYSL, Rochester, New York, WACK, Newark, New York. As I always say, Newark is the cool Newark. I was just in Newark a couple weeks ago. Absolutely. So reach out to me, 585-346-3000. I am sorry that I couldn't be here last week. I was running around Western New York. Some of you probably saw me there, and I appreciate that, those who showed up. So I wasn't able to speak much about Thanksgiving. Happily, Craig was here filling in, doing some Turkey Day stuff, which was awesome. Thank you again for filling in, Craig. But I want to talk a little bit about Thanksgiving. I know I'm late, but the idea still matters. Some of you know I was raised in New York City, Manhattan, and the South Bronx as a little kid, and then eventually on Long Island and Suffolk County as a teenager. As a little kid, my Thanksgiving was pretty big. Very often we would go and take off to Brooklyn, which is where my father's family was. And it was a lot of food, a lot of family talk, games, and fun stuff. I enjoyed it. I thought that these holidays were interesting and fun and full of family. My father passed away when I was 12. And when that happened, everything changed. His family abandoned us. My mom was an immigrant. Her family was not here. So it was just me and my mom all of a sudden. Thanksgiving became a very odd holiday. It went from lots of people, lots of family, to me and my mom in a dining room that we actually had a dining room in our house in Suffolk County that we rarely used because it was just me and her. So my mom worked for a bank. It was a German bank. And very often there'd be people who would come over from Germany to work at that bank. It was a German bank. They would bring Germans over sometimes to work. So my mom would sometimes say, hey, if your family is in Germany and it's Thanksgiving, come over to our house. So sometimes we'd have basically people I'd never met before would be sitting at my table on Thanksgiving. And sometimes our neighbors would come over and they'd sit there and we'd have Thanksgiving together. It became a very different type of holiday for me. But it was important because we got together and I met new people and we shared, and my mom would cook and she loved cooking, and she'd make 2 meats and 2 gravies and all types of food that we would be eating for the next 6 months. I'm exaggerating, but it felt like 6 months. So now, many years later, my Thanksgiving is me, my wife, and my 2 daughters. And I have family in Florida. We didn't do Thanksgiving together. I regret that. I regret that for many reasons. This Thanksgiving was sad in a way. My daughter is going off to college probably next year. This will be the last Thanksgiving with my oldest as a kid. She won't be a kid anymore. And I have an illness in my family in Florida, and there may not be another Thanksgiving with certain members of my family. I used every excuse to not visit, to not change, to not make adjustments in my schedule. And I regret that. I allowed fear of COVID, busyness, running for office. I allowed all of those things to get in my way. And I regret that. So this Thanksgiving was special for me in that not only was I able to enjoy time with my family, but I also got a wake-up call for what's been happening these last couple of years. I also got a wake-up call on how important family is, something I'd taken for granted as a little child and then shaken as a young teen, and then taken for granted again as if I had learned nothing. I guess over decades I got stupid or dumber or whatever, or lazy or whatever. Or maybe I bought the stories that everyone told me on how I shouldn't travel or shouldn't do this or shouldn't get together. Maybe I bought all those stupid stories. Maybe you have too. But it was a wake-up call for me. Understanding what's really important, what really is valuable. It is community and family and being together. And when I look at what's happening across our state and across our country, all the damage, the violence, drug overdoses, the pain, what does it all come down to? We're not being together. Community and family. And you hear me talk about this all the time. I'm the guy who's preaching it. Maybe sometimes I should look in the mirror myself. And I'm glad that this Thanksgiving allowed me to look in the mirror myself. Because I always say it, right? I can't point my finger at you until I point it at myself first. So I pointed at myself. Now I'll point it at you. Why do I bring all this up? Because today, while it's not Thanksgiving, is Giving Tuesday. Yes, it is. And for those of you who are going to decide to take this as an opportunity to give, and I hope you will, I would ask something of you to the best of your ability. One, give locally. Give to your community. If you're going to give, if you've decided this is going to be your day, give locally. Number two, if you're going to give to something that will keep people together. Whatever that is, if it will keep people together, that's going to make everything better. That's going to help all of the things, right? That's overarching. It will help all of the things. So if you decide to give, and I hope you are in a position to do so, I know some people aren't, and they're hurting, and it's not working. I get it. But if you are in that position, then please give locally and or give to something or some organization that will keep people together. When we were talking about the family member who was ill in Florida, my youngest daughter said, I miss grandma, who is or was my mom. And she passed away many years ago. She didn't die in New York. She died in South Carolina. But Larry, you were raised in New York. You're still in New York. Yeah. My mom couldn't afford to retire here. So she packed up and she moved to South Carolina, where she could afford to retire. That's where she died. And when she left my two daughters here, of course. What else could she do? New York State is so oppressive, it breaks up families. And we wonder why we have more drug overdoses. We wonder why we have violence in our streets. We wonder why we have all these problems that were exacerbated by lockdowns. So now, on Giving Tuesday, I would ask you to try to counteract our own government. Yes, that's sad, but I am. When I'm out talking about policies and things for New York State, everything I talk about is happy New Yorkers. And what's happened, New Yorkers? People being able to survive and thrive with their families and their communities. That's what it's about. I was talking to the amazing Tim O'Connor yesterday, and we were talking about why people leave New York State. And he was saying, hey, a lot of it's economic. He's right. It's also lifestyle. Can you do what makes you happy with the people that you love? And when you can't, you pack up and you leave. Is it economics? It is. And it's lifestyle. And who's stopping both the economic growth and the lifestyle freedom in this state? It's not me. It's not you. It's our horrible state government. Our horrible state government. That is what's stopping it. That is what's making people leave. It isn't me. It isn't you. Sadly, though, blame in this case is irrelevant. Responsibility is what matters. And while it isn't our fault, it is our responsibility to fix it. With our action, with our community, with our example, we have to fix it. You know what's important? Let's act accordingly. It is Giving Tuesday. Larry Sharp, here on A Free Solution. Am I wrong? Tell me. 585-346-3000. WYSL. Back after the break.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation.
Are you familiar with what's going on with the Salvation Army right now?
585-200.
I'll shoot you an email. Look into it, but basically calling all of us racists. Yeah, I know. It's they become woke.
Hey, Tony, what you doing?
A little experiment, Zach. Look what I have under the microscope.
Ugh, what's that?
A sample of indoor air.
How can it be that dirty? Don't AC and furnace filters help?
Only with dust, Zach. But when Taylor installs a whole house APCO air purifier to detox the air, odors, chemicals, mold, bacteria, and viruses are removed.
For clean indoor air.
Yep. Ain't science awesome?
Taylor, 500 help.
A message from the National Police Association. It used to be that any able-bodied person would offer to assist a police officer in danger. Now, passers-by are more likely to take a video. There's a better use for your phone when an officer's in trouble. Call 911. Tell the operator where you are and what you see. Then, start your video to provide evidence later. To learn more about how you can assist law enforcement, visit nationalpolice.org. That's nationalpolice.org.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to Simple Tech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
A free solution.
Yep, it is me. Larry Sharp, here on A Free Solution. You might say, Larry, I like this show. Good. It's on every day. That's right. It's on every day at noon and also at 6 in Newark, New York. It is here. You can watch it. You can watch it live on YouTube if you like, or listen to it here. All good. Just follow A Free Solution on Facebook and YouTube. And you get me, you get the cool Tim O'Connor, you get the awesome Kevin Wilson, you get Craig Miles sometimes too. Come on. And you get Andrew Hollister. Just a insane lineup of cool people. So I want to go on to the next piece if I could. And that is what's happening here, our government. Now, we just talked before the break about what's really important. And then the damage that's being done. We see it everywhere. We see overdoses like there's no tomorrow. Everywhere. We see violence everywhere. People shooting each other over arguments, black market fights, everywhere. This is happening for many reasons. But again, one of them, because of all the lockdowns, the mandates, all these things that are happening. So what's the answer? The answer is, let's focus on the next variant. Yep, that's the answer. Focus on the next variant and declare a state of emergency. Our Queen, Her Majesty, Queen Kathy, all hail the Queen, speaker, she speaks to God, so voice of God herself. So she has decided that we need a state of emergency based upon the variant, not based upon violence, not based upon drug overdoses, not based upon a broken budget. No, that's not it. The answer is the variant. That's what we're causing a state of emergency over. Wow. New York City decided, well, let's see. All these people are committing suicide and are overdosing all over the place. So what we should do to solve this problem is not to give community back, not to get people back working, not to reopen our city. No, that would be stupid. What we'll do instead is we'll have supervised, government supervised injection sites. I'm not joking. Now, am I necessarily against injection sites? I'm not. I'm not against them. If that's what you think is going to work for you, I'm in. Do what you think is going to work for your community. Yes, absolutely. You do what you think is going to do, what's going to work best for your drug problem in your community. Yes, go on. 100%. My problem is New York City thought that was the answer, not reopening the city. That was the answer. We just can't reopen a city. No, we must maintain lockdown. So instead, we'll provide places where you can shoot up. That'll work. That's a better answer. That's where we are right now. So now our governor has decided, well, all right, we got all kind of problem. Number one death in America, if I'm not mistaken, it's still heart disease, I'm pretty sure. Number two, I think it's cancer, or it's reverse. Cancer, heart disease, cancer. One of those two. Across this nation, COVID is about 6, give or take, out of the top 10, about 6. So let's have a state of emergency and let's stop all elective procedures in hospitals, because that makes sense, even though those elective procedures are things that will stop you from dying of cancer and heart attack. Larry, that's not true. Oh, that is true. She said it herself. She literally said it yesterday. At the first time we did this, people weren't getting screenings and people were dying of cancer and heart. She said it, her own words, and she speaks to God, so it must be true. So she said it. Now she goes, well, this time we won't. How? How? The number one, number two killers across this state, across this country, cancer, heart disease. COVID's like number 6 or 7, something like that. So what are we going to focus on? COVID. That's the focus, not the other stuff. So she says, don't worry about it. The reason why we must do it, this is the reason, is because of lack of hospital beds. See that? We have a lack of hospital beds. Did anyone else discuss hospital beds? Oh, right. Our previous monarch, right? The now disgraced toucher of butts, His Majesty King Andrew II. Yes. He talked about hospital beds 2 years ago. Huh. We could just get more hospital beds. Couldn't that do something? Maybe. We could build maybe a field hospital. Maybe. We can't. There are 2 reasons why. Number 1, you know who controls all the hospital beds in New York State? Our monarch, our governor. First, His Majesty King Andrew, and now Queen Kathy. They haven't increased hospital beds. They decide it through certificates of need. They decide how many hospital beds. Why don't you just say, build more? She's talking about, let's bring in the National Guard. You know what the National Guard can do? Build field hospitals. That's a thing. They do that. They can build field hospitals. They could do that. In which case, you would increase hospital beds. I know, weird, right? You could do that. You could just allow the private market to build it. That's the one I like. Or you could bring National Guard in to build field hospitals. Either of those are possible. Why don't we do them? Because it isn't about hospital beds. You know what it's about? Personnel to staff the hospitals and hospital beds. That's the problem. She didn't say that, though. She just, hospital beds. Oh, what are we going to do about these hospital beds? That isn't the problem. You can make hospital beds. You can, literally. You can build a field hospital. You can allow the private market to build extra hospitals or beds, all types of things. You can do all of those things. But you can't staff them. Why can't you? Because of stupid New York State licensing, number 1, which was a problem 2 years ago. We still haven't fixed. I wonder what guy was hooping and hollering online about fixing it. Oh, wait, that was me. Yes, years ago. So that's number 1. But number 2 is we're firing medical personnel. Here we are, because they won't get the vax. So now they got to go. So state of emergency, self-imposed problem. Literally, you could just let people come here and work. You could just allow people to build hospital beds. You can call the National Guard to build a field hospital. You could stop firing medical personnel. All of those things would work. But let's not do that. Let's instead call a state of emergency on the 6th most deadliest thing in our country and shut more things down. That's literally what we're doing. When our problems are about community and closeness and family, we do nothing about that. About our economy, we do nothing about that. We only do this, and we double down and we triple down like there's no tomorrow. That's okay, though. See, we're going to call the National Guard to come in. They're going to come in and staff the hospital. Huh. New York State National Guard. Sounds amazing. I love the military. Let's do that. Where are you going to pull those New York State National Guard personnel who have medical training and have medical jobs from? Oh, right. Other New York State hospitals. Yeah, not helping. You're shifting one to the other. That's your awesome plan? We'll pull people out of retirement. So you're going to pull people, to be clear, out of retirement. So people who are over 65, literally, those who are most susceptible to being killed by COVID, You can put them into the COVID hotspot. Brilliant. This is our plan. Am I wrong here, guys? Maybe. I don't know. I'll get your calls and your comments coming up here real soon. Larry Sharp, our free solution.
Fly the flag, stand for freedom. WYSL. AM 1040 Avon Rochester, FM 92.1 Rochester, and FM 95.5 Spencerport.
Here's the News 10 NBC forecast on WYSL. For tonight, mostly cloudy with a chance for an isolated rain or snow shower, but no accumulation expected. It will be breezy with gusts near 20 miles an hour to 30 miles an hour tonight, low of 32. Out the door tomorrow, it'll feel a little bit cooler. Wind chills in the 20s. We'll see an afternoon high of 41. We stay on the mostly cloudy side. Then as we go into Wednesday night, looks like rain showers arrive late with a low of 37. I'm meteorologist Alex Bielfeld on your WYSL stations.
For unbeatable deals and best selections, see Victor Chevrolet. Come see how easy it is to do business with us. Victor's got new Silverado pickups, Trailblazer, and Equinox SUVs with models ranging from LS and customs to RS and Trail Boss to tailor-fit your needs. And there's always a huge selection of late-model pre-owned vehicles. Get your ride ready for winter and save with great Victor Chevy service specials. A 6-quart oil change with tire rotation, only $49.95. An 8-quart oil change and tire rotation, just $59.95. A 4-wheel alignment to protect your tires, $89.95. And save money on expensive gas with a new air filter, $44.95 installed. And there are tire savings at Victor Chevy. Get a $100 mail-in rebate on 4 Bridgestone, Continental, Goodyear, Hankook, or Pirelli tires. Get a $70 rebate on 4 Firestone, General, or Michelin tires. A $50 rebate on 4 BF Goodrich tires. Victor Chevrolet is ready to serve you today. Find new roads at Victor Chevrolet, Route 96 in Victor. Visit victorchevrolet.com.
Do you, like many business owners, feel your business is your other child? You started it, worried when things weren't well, watched it grow, proud of its successes, and now the business is running well. So you start to think, how am I going to transfer this business and make sure I get the most value for it? Who am I going to sell it to? Family, key employees, favorite competitors? What's my business worth? What kind of payment terms am I going to get? What are the tax implications and business agreements I need? What's going to be the impact for me and my family? I'm Alan Ginsberg of the A.M. Ginsberg Advisory Group. We work with many business owners regarding business continuation plans. We'll be glad to sit down and discuss your situation and look at the options that you may have available. Call my office at 585-377-4720. If you start to think about it, don't wait till the last minute.
Securities offered through Securities America, Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Securities America Advisors, Inc., A.M. Ginsberg Advisory Group, and Securities America Companies are separate entities.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
The last 2 years added pressure on everyone. Women are more at risk for abortion than ever. Give a woman and her preborn baby the greatest gift of all, the gift of a birthday. $57 helps ensure that a woman will have the ethical medical care and support she needs to have her baby. Make your one-time tax-deductible gift to Compass Care today. To serve women and save lives, go to realabortionnews.com/donate. That's realabortionnews.com/donate.
This fall, enjoy stunning views of the fall foliage from the highest point in Monroe County at Woodcliff Hotel and Spa. Recently voted Rochester's top hotel. We are centrally located, but far from it all. Woodcliff Hotel and Spa offers spacious accommodations, a premier spa, a 9-hole golf course, fine dining, and a beautiful location to relax, recharge, and reconnect. Get the most out of your visit and choose from a number of all-inclusive packages. To book your getaway, visit woodcliffhotelspa.com.
Flower City Arcade features vintage pinball, video games, and more. Give the gift of gaming. Unlimited passes, only $10. Open Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Flower City Arcade, Penfield Road, just east of Panorama Trail.
Livingston County Pizza Company and Gluten Free Bakery has a great deal on Tuesdays. A large 4-topping pizza for $18, regular or gluten-free. Call 226-9575. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Livingston County Pizza Company and Gluten Free Bakery in Avon.
A free solution.
So happy to be here with you this afternoon. Larry Sharp on A Free Solution. If you want to, you can follow me on my other cool things. Larry Sharp, all over the place. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all the things. All good. Here with you, WYSL, Rochester, New York. WACK, Newark, New York. 585-346-3000. I was speaking a lot about what's going on in New York State and how we're responding to it and how it's just bad. Nothing but bad. So many of you have been responding, and I want to grab some of your comments. The chat has been giving me a couple things. Shauna says, if I could give the gift of common sense, which does not run rapid here, I would. I agree. I just think the idea is we want to start thinking about people. Policy matters. Of course it does. But people are the end game, right? So our policies should be about people. We want to be as harsh as we possibly can on systems and as lenient as we can on people, right? There's a limit to both, obviously, but that's what we should be thinking about. We keep thinking the opposite. Lenient systems and harsh on people. Let's think the opposite way. It's a much better way of looking at it. So yes. Nate says, rethink government, empower people. I agree. Absolutely. Yes. So, all righty. Ed says, the problem is we need New Yorkers to understand that New York State doesn't revolve around New York City. The problem that people have been falling for the fear bait and rage bait from the corporate news media a lot because the news stations are being centralized in big blue cities. You know, this is a valid point, Ed. If you notice, most people who vote watch mainstream news, right? They either watch Fox or CNN or MSNBC. Most people who vote do, but a lot of the youngsters don't. And I define youngster as someone under 30 because I'm over 50. So that's how I define them. So I think in that regard, I think people, younger people are starting to move away, Ed. But I think most people who vote still watch mainstream. And either they become afraid or they become angry. I think you're right. It's fear bait and rage bait. I'm trying to not be like that. But I feel it too. I get angry. I do. So yes, valid point. But we have to move away from that. I agree. So a couple about my campaign. Brian says, how's this year's campaign going compared to your last run? Thank you, Brian. Much better. For those of you who don't know, when I ran for governor in 2018, boy, no one cared about me at all. They were like, there's some crazy guy running around New York State trying to give us answers for our problems. To hell with that guy. That's basically what I got. Now people are listening at least, which is nice. So I'm happy people are listening. I'm happy people are paying attention. I'm happy that more people understand over these last 4 years as I've crossed the state and done this show that people know I'm not going away and I haven't gone away. And for those of you who voted for somebody else in 2018, Where's that person now? That's what I would say. That's what I would ask you. If you voted for somebody other than me in 2018, where are they now? I'm still here. I never went away. So I guess that's something, right? Ryan says, it's happening. People everywhere know Larry's name and are listening. Thank you, my friend. I do appreciate that. I do appreciate that. Jason says, when you buy a poll, will you include Republicans or just you versus Hochul? This is a great question. For those who don't know, if you want to be involved in a poll, you have to buy the poll. Yep, it's pay to play. I wish it wasn't. That's how the game is played. Crappy game, I know. But it is the game. I actually don't know, to be forward with you, Jason. My team will help me with that to put together what makes the most sense. The poll company will also put together what they think makes the most sense. So I'm unsure. I don't know what the right answer is. But just being in a poll is what matters, right? People have to know that I exist. That's the most important piece. So thank you, Jason, for the question. Jamie says, hospital beds won't matter if there aren't any nurses to aid the sick. Thank you, Jamie. You get it. You get it. This hospital bed crisis, yes, I'm doing air quotes, is not a hospital bed crisis. It's a medical personnel crisis. Beds are not hard to buy. They're not hard to make. They're not hard to put together. They aren't. You can do so. You know what's hard? Finding qualified, willing medical personnel. That's hard. That is hard. And so what do? You do dumb stuff like this. Instead of just saying, you know what? Let people work. Right? One of the things we're dealing with here in New York also, across the country, is inflation. We're all feeling it. Whether it's gas prices, food prices, we're all feeling it. So you might say, well, Larry, what does that have to do with nurses and medical personnel in hospitals? I'll tell you. Inflation is too much money compared to goods and services. That's what inflation is at its most, reductiveness, right? Is that what it's called? Reductiveness? Is that a word? It is now, right? At its most reductive, right? That's what it is. So how can you brace for that? I have an idea. More goods and services. How do you make more goods and services? Let people work. I know it's crazy. Let people work. If you let people work, there will be more goods and services, and we can buffer the inflation. We can't stop it because most of that's from the Fed. So we can't stop inflation. But can I create a buffer in New York State? Yes, by letting people work. Yeah. But Jamie's like, yeah, Larry, I'm with you. The hospital beds don't matter. Jamie's right. They're easy to make. Very simple. So yes. All right. Shauna says, mislead the public so they can push their agenda and cause a problem where they can swoop in and claim they're the savior. Sounds like female clone of Cuomo. That's pretty close. Shauna, it's true. There actually is no hospital bed crisis. There's a crisis. It's not hospital beds, right? The crisis is in medical personnel. Again, you can make hospital beds. You can build out field hospitals. Can be done. You want the private sector to build them out. Now, I know what people are going to say. Larry, we don't have time for that now. We got to bring in the National Guard. We don't have time for your crazy schemes. Okay. Number one, didn't you have time a year and a half ago when I first brought up my crazy scheme? You had time then. You sat around doing nothing. And if you were Cuomo, you were grabbing people's butts and singing love songs to people. And if you're Hochul, you were talking to God. I got it. But couldn't you also have just been a better delegator or something and also worked on the hospital beds? I mean, grabbing people's butts is not, all day. You could also get people to build hospital beds. You could do that. You don't have to just talk to God all day. You could also build hospital beds. And neither of those things happened. So, yeah. But second part, say they were too busy doing what they do best, and they couldn't build hospital beds out. Okay. So let's use the National Guard. How are you going to get National Guard people to know how to deal with things like COVID and such? How? You tell me there's that many medical personnel in our National Guard who know how to handle COVID and other diseases like that in hospitals? Of course not. Many of them are trauma trained, and I bring this up often. And that's fine. That's a good thing, right? Many of them are. Someone, gets shot, someone gets into a car accident, et cetera, et cetera. They're very good at that. That's their skill set. That's not handling someone in an ICU. That is a different skill set. And not that they can't learn it. I'm sure many of them are savvy enough and smart enough to learn it. How long is it going to take? That's not a 2-day crash course. That's weeks just to know it. And then the experience. I mean, how many times does an ICU medical professional make decisions based upon experience? I would guess at least once a day, but I could be wrong. But probably. How are they going to get that experience in 3 weeks? Not going to happen. This is a fantasy. It's a bad idea. Am I wrong? Am I crazy? Tell me. Larry Sharp, here, WYSL, a free solution. 585-346-3000. Back after the break.
I sent you a couple emails about the Salvation Army. You're welcome. Bob Savage should forward them to me.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix?
Yeah, we first heard it on Glenn Beck yesterday.
Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be,
I'm sorry, but the Salvation Army is supposed to bring people together, not divide us.
In mind when building or updating your website, they're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
Need help with health insurance? The Greece Regional Chamber provides assistance with health insurance for businesses, nonprofits, families, and individuals throughout our region. We pride ourselves on the personalized service that we provide for our clients. Let us help you find health insurance plans that fit your needs and navigate the paperwork. Greece Chamber Benefit Partners, located at 2402 Westridge Road in Rochester, New York, offers a broad range of medical insurance plans for businesses, nonprofits, individuals, and families throughout the greater Rochester Finger Lakes region, working with insurance companies including Excelis Blue Cross Blue Shield, Univera, and MVP Healthcare. We can also help you access insurance plans through the New York State of Health, the official health plan marketplace. Again, you do not need to live or work in Greece to utilize our brokerage services. We serve the greater Rochester Finger Lakes region of New York State. Visit greecechamber.org to sign up for one of our free health insurance information sessions or schedule an appointment with one of our licensed brokers. Call 585-227-7272. 585-227-7272.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A-plus Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
A free solution.
Yes, indeed. It is Larry Sharp here on A Free Solution. WYSL, Rochester, New York, WACK, Newark, New York. Yes, the cool Newark. Happy that you're giving me a chunk of your afternoon. There are a lot of people who are popping in these comments, and I want to grab a couple things that are a little bit off topic, but I think they're interesting. Sam brings out, he says, CNBC's reporting that Chris Cuomo used sources to investigate his brother's accusers. I'm surprised the media actually reported it. You know, I'm going to take an odd take on this one. I'm actually not mad that Chris Cuomo helped his brother. You might go, but Larry, they're bad people. Yes, it's true. It is his brother, though. My problem is the hiding. I wish he'd just come clean. If it were my brother, I would just come out and say, I'm going to support my brother. Maybe I shouldn't do my show for a while because I'm going to go support my brother in need. He's my brother. I'm going to go support him. And you might be mad at me for that. You might think my brother's a bad guy, but at least you'd be like, well, he's being honest. He loves his brother. Whatevs. Move on. That's what he should have done. I'm actually not mad at him for supporting his brother. I'm mad at him for lying about it, for not taking a hiatus. That's what he should have done. He should have walked away from his show and said, I got to focus on my brother. He's in trouble. I'm going to go. I'd been like, all right. You know that very rarely, let me say this right. I'm very lenient when people try to help their family, even when I may not like what they're doing. I get that people want to help their family. I do. What gets me upset is when people who are next to them or close to them or around them all of a sudden get righteous, like, yes, we got to go help this guy. I'm like, it's not your brother. Why don't you be quiet and sit down? It's not your brother. But when it's your brother, I kind of get it. So I see where you're going with it, Sam. I think it's wrong what he did, but I'm not saying it's wrong that he did it. I'm saying it's wrong that he was duplicitous, that he was lying, that he was hiding. That's the part that was wrong. He should have simply just stopped working, taken a hiatus, and I'm going to go help my brother. And then, okay, we get it. That's what you're doing. And if he wants to sit there and write speeches for him or whatever, I got it. You walked away and said, my brother's more important than my job. That's what I'm doing. Makes total sense. Don't like it, but accept it. If that makes any sense. So yes. Dustin says, so we're going to get some more of those failed lockdowns over this variant. Yes. Guaranteed. Already. So now Christmas is coming. They're going to tell us you should wear masks indoors during your Christmas celebration. They're going to tell us that if they haven't already. Have they said that already? They may have. Yeah. So when we need each other most, when we need to connect to each other most, more than ever, don't do it. Put your mask on. There's a chance you might get a disease that has a negligible chance of killing a child. You might. And we have more treatments and more therapies and more everything than we've ever had for it. So you know what we should do? Make you feel less human than ever. Because what could go wrong? Accept everything. Accept everything. Shona says, Larry, you matter. Thank you. And people need to wake up the sleepy that are blind to what's going on. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm trying my best. Absolutely. Jamie says, like, comment, and share. She's right. The good Dr. Thunder, how are you, sir? Says like, share, comment, and subscribe. There we go. I love that. Absolutely. Lisa asks, is there any legislation we can push to change the pay-to-play aspects of elections in New York? There are. And I call it the BRO program. Not bruh. Nope. BRO. B-R-O. B. Ballot access. It should be easy to get your name on a ballot. It isn't. It's hard to get your name on a ballot. And I hear all the time, you third party, you libertarians, you had some people I could vote for, maybe I would. Literally, Democrats and Republicans sue to throw us off the ballot. And judges decide horribly. Shame on any judge who decides against this, saying you shouldn't be on because stupid rules both parties made up. But Larry, it's rules and laws. They're stupid rules and laws created by people who want to make sure that the two parties stay in power and we keep fighting each other. And any judge goes, that's a great idea. Let's keep that going. Terrible. Make it easier. People get on the ballot. What's the downside? If some nut gets on the ballot, you're probably not going to vote for him. And if you do vote for him, what does that say how you feel about the people running? Either way, it's okay. But more importantly, what happens when there are specialized parties on the ballot? Like there's a rent is too damn high party. If that party's on the ballot and does well, what does that tell our government? The rent's too high. Let's do something about it. But if it's just left versus right, I just yell at the other. So B, ballot access. R, ranked choice voting. You should be able to vote for more people than one and just rank them on who you think is number one, number two, number three, number four, whatever. Or not at all. Say there's 3 people on the ballot. I don't know, for the sake of argument, a Republican, a Democrat, and a Libertarian. You know, I just picked 3 random ones. You could actually pick the one that you like. And then protect yourself from the one you hate. So if you lean left, you don't like the Republican, you can vote Libertarian number 1, Democrat number 2, and not right Republican. If you lean right, you don't like the Democrat. You vote 1 Libertarian, 2 Republican, you don't like the Democrat. So you vote either goes Libertarian if that person wins. If not, it goes to the next person. It goes to Republican. It never goes Democrat. If you lean left, it never goes Republican. Easy day. This can be done. It's done in New York City, but only for the primaries. So only the Democrats in New York City get it. No one else does. They know it's good. They kept it for themselves. I'm not joking. Only New York City Democrats get this. So yeah, they know it's good. No one else gets it. And the last one is open primaries. Let people vote for who they want to vote in one primary. The problem is, say you want to be a Republican or a Democrat, right? You want to be a Republican. Great. You identify as that. But in a specific race, you would rather vote for the Democrat or vote for the Libertarian. If you're in New York City, the odds are a Democrat's going to win, but maybe you identify as Republican. So be a Republican, because that's how you identify. But then when a primary comes, vote for which Democrat you think will do the less damage to your city. What's wrong with that in the primary? BRO. Ballot access, ranked choice voting, open primaries. The BRO program. That's the issue. Absolutely. So we do that. Now we're rocking and rolling. So I appreciate that, Lisa, tremendously. Guys, it's always about family. It's always about community. It's the only way we can fight. That's it. Thank you so much for giving me a chunk of your afternoon. I will see you all next week.